Hello everyone, week 31 is officially done. We made it another week, so here is my week 31 reflection update on baby and I. Starting with baby, this week she went from the size of a zucchini to the size of asparagus, at least according to the main pregnancy tracker app that I use. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never seen asparagus that is bigger than a zucchini. So I went and I looked at a couple other tracker websites and apps, and some were in agreement, some definitely weren't, but another size I found is a coconut, which makes sense to me if you're talking about the huge green coconuts that you can find growing on trees on tropical islands, not the little brown ones that we can buy in the grocery store here in America. From crown or the top of her head to her heel, she should be measuring at about 16¼ to 16½ inches. From crown to rump, so head to butt, she's probably measuring around 11 inches at this point. She's also gained some weight this last week and is now weighing around 3½ pounds, give or take a little bit. She definitely is still moving a lot, although sometime between my doctor's appointment last week and a midwife appointment I had this week, she did decide to turn around, and so she is now head down. This has not slowed her down at all as far as movement goes. However, it has changed how I feel movements. So now most of the movements I feel are up in my rib cage area or like right above my belly button. So kind of between belly button and rib cage is where I feel movement. And a lot of them feel like she's just kind of like rubbing her butt back and forth. She's actually moving right now and just gave me a nice kick in my rib cage. Her favorite place to just like kind of hang out, or I don't know, maybe she falls asleep there, is with her butt up like pushed against my right rib cage, which is fine when I'm standing, but when I sit down, it makes it hard to breathe and it can be kind of uncomfortable. So I find myself constantly like stretching my back, trying to give her a little bit more space and give me more room to breathe. As far as development goes, this week she's still working on strengthening her organs. At this point, her lungs are working at about 30 to 40%. So she definitely still has work to do there. Her bones are also starting to harden. And then she's working on adding some fat to her body, so when she's born, she won't be all skin and bones and will be able to regulate her own temperature. My bump also, I'm pretty sure, has increased in size this last week. I now find myself bumping into things with it even more. With its increase in size, my balance also is much worse. Seeing me get up from the couch, or like even if I end up sitting on the floor, honestly, probably looks fairly amusing to other people or a little bit silly. With that in mind, most of the time if something falls on the floor or I drop something, it is basically dead to me. I don't usually bother picking it up. If it's important, I can sometimes get Addie to be helpful and pick it up. If it's not important, it just stays there and eventually someone picks it up. Or if I'm feeling like I have better movement and balance, I will endeavor to pick it up myself. I'm still having a hard time getting comfortable. At night it's much worse, but as I mentioned earlier, it also now is happening when I sit down if baby decides to hang out up in my rib cage. Even standing, I've noticed that if I'm standing for long periods of time, that my feet usually end up being pretty sore at the end of the night. So comfortableness, I just figure at this point in pregnancy, rarely going to happen. The only other kind of new thing from this last week is that my pregnancy cravings have returned. We watched a show the other night where they made a homemade pizza that looked amazing. And since then, I have not been able to get pizza off of my mind. And it's not just like, oh, pizza, that sounds good. it's like an intense desire to consume pizza. So that's kind of interesting. I definitely recommend, if you are pregnant, to try to stay away from cooking shows, because I have noticed throughout my entire pregnancy that those are definitely craving triggers for me. Overall, baby and I are doing great and are on track for a low risk and healthy pregnancy and delivery. She is still working on strengthening organs and getting bigger, and I am just working on trying to get enough sleep and getting ready for her to come, because it's not really that long now. Over the next week, I'm hoping to find the time to put together a baby registry for her. I have already found that there are a lot of differences registering for your second baby than your first baby. And so I plan to, as I'm putting our registry together, share some of those differences with you, and even things that I think are really important to have on your baby registry. So if you want that update or future pregnancy updates, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button down below. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you later.